Hello, everyone, and welcome to the English Podcast. This is your go-to podcast for learning English and improving your skills one step at a time. My name is Adam, and I'm so happy to have all of you with us today. It's always exciting to start a new episode and share ideas that can help you grow and succeed in life.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia, and I couldn't agree more with Adam. It's such a pleasure to connect with all of you again. We're here to not only help you learn English, but also to discuss topics that inspire you to become a better version of yourself. And today, we have a topic that fits perfectly with the beginning of the year: how to set meaningful goals that can truly make a difference in your life.
That's right, Julia. The new year is always a great time to reflect on what we've accomplished in the past and what we want to achieve in the future. Setting goals gives us direction and helps us stay focused on what matters most.
Absolutely, Adam. Goals are like a map that guides us through the journey of life. Without them, it's easy to feel lost or unsure about what steps to take. That's why we're dedicating this episode to helping you understand how to set goals that are not only achievable but also meaningful and motivating.
Now, before we dive into the steps for setting goals, let's talk about why this topic is so important.
Sure, Adam. Setting goals is important because it helps us grow as individuals. When we set goals, we give ourselves a clear purpose and direction. It's like planting a seed that will grow into something beautiful if we nurture it. Goals help us stay focused, work hard, and measure our progress.
Exactly, Julia. And when we achieve our goals, it gives us a sense of accomplishment and builds our confidence. It's a way to challenge ourselves and keep moving forward.
And for those of you learning English, setting goals can be especially helpful. For example, you might decide to learn 10 new words each week, practice speaking for 15 minutes a day, or read one short story every month. These small, specific goals can add up to big improvements over time.
That's a great point, Julia. Learning a language, like English, is a journey that requires patience and dedication. By setting clear goals, you can stay motivated and see real progress.
Exactly. So, whether you want to learn English, improve your health, or work on your career, this episode will give you practical tips and ideas to help you set meaningful goals for the new year.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yes, let's dive right in.
Exactly, Julia. And the beauty of goals is that they're personal to each individual. Everyone has their own dreams, ambitions, and things they want to achieve, so goals look different for everyone. What's important is that these goals reflect what truly matters to you. For some people, goals might be related to career advancement, while for others, they might focus on personal development, like learning a new language or improving physical health. The common thread is that goals give us something to focus on, and through this focus, we take action to make those dreams a reality.
That's a really great point, Adam. Goals also help us stay organized and manage our time effectively. Without goals, it's easy to get distracted or lost in the many tasks we need to do each day. But when you set a goal, you can break down the steps necessary to achieve it, making everything seem more manageable. It's like creating a roadmap for success, where every small action brings you closer to your destination. You can look at your progress, make adjustments along the way, and feel a sense of accomplishment as you move forward.
Absolutely, Julia. And one way to make sure your goals are effective is to understand that there are different types of goals: short-term goals and long-term goals. Both are important, but they work in different ways. Let's start by talking about short-term goals. These are goals that you can achieve relatively quickly, usually within a few weeks or months. They're often smaller, more specific actions that lead to bigger achievements. For example, let's say you want to improve your English vocabulary. A short-term goal could be learning 10 new words every week. By setting this small goal, you're gradually building up your vocabulary over time, which will help you in the long run.
Yes, and those short-term goals are like the building blocks that make up the foundation for your long-term goals. Long-term goals are bigger goals that take more time to achieve, usually a year or more. These are often the things that take a lot of dedication, planning, and effort. For example, If your long-term goal is to become fluent in English, you might need to work on improving your speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills over time. But remember, long-term goals can be broken down into smaller short-term goals, which makes them more achievable and less overwhelming.
Exactly. It's like building a house. First, you need to lay down the foundation, short-term goals. Then you gradually add walls, windows, and a roof, long-term goals. Each short-term goal is a step that brings you closer to your larger, long-term goal. This process makes achieving big goals seem much more possible. So, for example, if your long-term goal is to be fluent in English, one short-term goal could be practicing speaking English for 15 minutes every day, or reading one English article every week. By consistently working on these short-term goals, you'll find yourself moving steadily toward your long-term goal of fluency.
And don't forget that setting both short-term and long-term goals for different areas of your life is important too. For example, besides setting goals for learning English, you might also want to set goals related to your health, career, or even hobbies. This gives you a sense of balance in your life and keeps you motivated in different areas. You can have multiple short-term and long-term goals working together, all leading to personal growth and success in different aspects of life.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, goals aren't just about reaching the finish line. The process of working towards a goal teaches you important life skills like discipline, patience, and resilience. You'll face challenges along the way, but each time you overcome a challenge, you get stronger. And every small step you take toward your goal is an achievement in itself. So, whether it's learning 10 new words a week or running a marathon, the journey is just as important as the final outcome.
Right, Adam. And let's not forget that setting goals for learning English can be very specific too. Some people might want to improve their speaking skills, others might want to focus on reading comprehension, while some may aim to improve their grammar. Each of these areas is a goal in itself, and setting clear objectives in each one can make your learning experience more organized and focused. For example, a goal could be watching one English movie every week to improve listening skills, or writing a short English essay every month to improve writing. By setting these specific goals, you create a path to improve your English skills step by step.
Exactly, Julia. And setting meaningful goals like these for learning English gives you not only something to work toward, but also a sense of progress and accomplishment as you go along. Whether you're aiming to pass an English exam, speak fluently with native speakers, or even write your own story in English, breaking down these big dreams into manageable goals will make them more attainable. It's a way of turning your hopes into reality. Now that we've discussed the different types of goals, let's take a deeper dive into why setting goals is essential for success and personal growth. One of the most powerful reasons to set goals is that it provides us with motivation. Motivation is the driving force that gets us out of bed in the morning and pushes us to take action. Without clear goals, it's easy to feel lost or stuck. Setting a goal gives us something specific to work toward, and this sense of direction is incredibly motivating. For example, let's imagine you set a goal to learn 10 new English words each week. Every time you learn a new word, it gives you a small win, and that win motivates you to keep going. Over time, you'll find that your motivation grows because you can see your progress. Motivation isn't just a feeling, it's a result of the actions you take toward achieving your goal. And the more steps you take, the more motivated you feel to continue.
Absolutely, Adam. Motivation is often the first step, but focus is what keeps us on track. Without goals, it's easy to get distracted by life's many demands. We all know how easily we can lose focus, whether it's social media, personal issues, or just the daily grind. But when you set a goal, it helps you concentrate on what really matters to you. It filters out the distractions and allows you to focus your energy on the task at hand. Take learning English, for instance. If you've set a goal to study for 30 minutes every day, that focus keeps you on track, even when other things in life might pull your attention elsewhere. With this clear goal in mind, you're more likely to push through distractions and stay committed to your studies, making real progress each day.
Right, Julia. And what's incredible about this process is that with each step you take toward your goal, you get a sense of achievement. This is one of the most rewarding aspects of goal setting. Achievement is the feeling you get when you know you've worked hard and accomplished something meaningful. It doesn't matter how small the achievement may seem, whether you've completed a task, hit a milestone, or reached the goal itself. It's about recognizing your progress and feeling proud of what you've done. That feeling of accomplishment is so powerful because it boosts your confidence and helps you believe in your ability to achieve even more. For example, if your goal is to speak English more fluently, every time you have a conversation in English, you're achieving something. Even if you make mistakes, the fact that you're speaking and learning is an accomplishment in itself. Each small win builds your confidence and keeps you moving forward.
That's such a great point, Adam. Feeling a sense of achievement is a huge motivator in itself. It's not just about the big final goal. It's about appreciating every step along the way. And let me tell you, once you experience that feeling of success, it encourages you to set even bigger goals. But what makes setting goals so powerful is that the benefits go beyond just motivation, focus, and achievement. It also has a positive impact on your mindset. When you set goals, you're telling yourself that you believe in your ability to improve, that you're capable of achieving your dreams. This mindset shift is incredibly important. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you start to view them as opportunities to grow. The more goals you set and achieve, the more your mindset shifts towards success, and the more you believe that you can achieve anything you set your mind to.
Exactly, Julia. And let's talk about some real-life examples of how goal setting has changed people's lives for the better. For instance, I read the story of a young woman named Lisa. Lisa came from a small town and always dreamed of studying abroad. She had the passion for learning, but she didn't know where to start. So, she set a goal. She wanted to improve her English language skills enough to pass an international language exam. Lisa's goal was clear and measurable. She broke it down into smaller goals, such as practicing English for 30 minutes every day, attending a weekly language exchange, and reading one book in English every month. Slowly but surely, Lisa made progress. With each week, her skills improved. Eventually, she passed the exam and was accepted to a university in the country she always dreamed of living in. Her ability to set clear, specific goals and take consistent action helped her achieve what once seemed impossible.
That's such an inspiring story, Adam. Lisa's experience is a perfect example of how setting goals can turn a dream into reality. It shows that with motivation, focus, and a clear plan, you can achieve things you might have thought were beyond your reach. And Lisa wasn't the only one who benefited from goal setting. Let me tell you about John, a man who had always dreamed of running a marathon. At first, the idea seemed impossible because he had never been a runner. But John decided to set a goal. He would run his first marathon within a year. To make this goal manageable, he broke it down into smaller steps. He started by running 10 minutes a day, then increased the time as he got fitter. He also kept track of his progress and celebrated small victories along the way. At the end of the year, John completed his marathon. It wasn't easy, but by setting a clear goal and staying focused on it, John achieved something he never thought he could.
That's such a powerful example, Julia. John's story reminds us that the path to achieving a goal isn't always easy, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. Sometimes we face challenges, and it can feel like we're not making progress, but every step forward counts. John's dedication shows how important it is to keep going, even when things get tough. Setting goals gives us the resilience we need to overcome challenges and keep striving for success.
Absolutely, Adam. And I think one of the most important lessons we can learn from stories like Lisa's and John's is that small steps lead to big changes. If you want to learn a new language, run a marathon, or even improve a skill like public speaking, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and commitment. But with each small goal you achieve, you get closer to that big dream. So, whether you're working on your English skills, pursuing a career goal, or improving your fitness, remember that every little step counts. Each goal, no matter how small, is a victory in itself.
Exactly, Julia. The process of setting goals isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about building habits and developing a mindset that will carry you through all aspects of life. So, let's remember that the journey toward achieving our goals is just as important as the achievement itself. Setting goals gives us motivation, focus, and a sense of accomplishment, and the small wins along the way make us stronger, more resilient, and more confident. If you can set meaningful goals and stay committed to them, there's nothing you can't achieve. All right, now that we understand why goal setting is important and how it helps us stay motivated and focused, let's move on to the actual process of setting meaningful goals. It's not enough to simply say, I want to achieve something. We need a strategy to help us organize our goals in a way that makes them easier to reach. A great method that helps us do this is the SMART goal system. Have you heard of SMART goals, Julia?
Yes, I have, Adam. The SMART goal system is an excellent tool for making our goals clearer and more achievable. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's a simple way to turn a vague idea into something concrete. Let's break it down and explain each part.
Sure. First up, specific. When setting a goal, it's important to make it as clear and specific as possible. The more specific your goal is, the easier it will be to focus on. For example, instead of saying, I want to get better at English, you could say, I want to learn 10 new English words each week. This way, you know exactly what you're working toward. It's also much easier to track your progress when the goal is specific. The clearer the goal, the easier it is to stay on track and measure your success. When we say specific, we're really asking the question, what exactly do I want to achieve?
Exactly. Now the second part is measurable. You want to set goals that can be measured, meaning you can track your progress and know when you've achieved your goal. For example, if your goal is to improve your English vocabulary, you can measure it by counting the number of new words you've learned each week. Instead of saying, I want to improve my English, you might say, I want to learn 50 new words by the end of the month. This way, it's easy to see how far you've come. Measurable goals give you a sense of progress, which keeps you motivated.
That's right, Julia. Having measurable goals is a great way to stay accountable. Now, the third part of SMART goals is achievable. It's very important to set goals that are within your reach. Setting goals that are too big or unrealistic can be discouraging if you don't achieve them. For instance, if you're just starting to learn English, it wouldn't be realistic to set a goal of speaking fluently in 1 month. Instead, you might set a goal like, I want to practice speaking English for 20 minutes every day for the next month. This is a goal that is achievable and gives you a clear focus. So ask yourself, can I realistically achieve this goal within the time I've set?
Yes, exactly. Achievability is key to ensuring that your goals don't feel overwhelming. Now, moving on to the next part, relevant. This step is about making sure that the goals you're setting matter to you and align with your larger ambitions. If a goal is relevant, it should be something that moves you closer to your long-term objectives. For example, if you want to get better at English because you want to improve your career prospects, then setting goals that help you learn English faster is very relevant. If your goal doesn't align with your interests or values, you may lose motivation along the way. So ask yourself, why is this goal important to me and how does it fit into my bigger picture?
Absolutely. Relevance is all about staying connected to your deeper motivations. And finally, we come to the last part of SMART goals, which is time-bound. This means setting a specific deadline for your goal. When you don't have a timeline, it's easy to procrastinate or forget about your goal altogether. Having a set deadline helps you stay focused and gives you a sense of urgency. For instance, If you want to learn 50 new English words, setting a deadline of 1 month makes it easier to stay motivated and on track. Time-bound goals are important because they create a sense of urgency which can prevent procrastination. So, ask yourself, when do I want to achieve this goal?
That's a perfect summary, Adam. To put it all together, a SMART goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If your goal is SMART, you have a clear direction and a better chance of achieving it. Let's quickly review the steps to create a SMART goal. 1. Specific. What exactly do you want to achieve? 2. Measurable. How will you measure your progress? 3. Achievable. Can you realistically achieve this goal? 4. Relevant. Does this goal align with your bigger ambitions? 5. Time-bound. When do you want to achieve this goal?
Now that we've covered the SMART goal system, let's move on to another important aspect of goal setting: prioritizing your goals. We all have many goals, but it's important to focus on the ones that are most important. When you're setting goals for the new year, it's easy to feel like you need to tackle everything at once, but this can lead to overwhelm. To make your goals more manageable, it's helpful to prioritize. You should focus on the goals that will have the biggest impact on your life, such as improving your English or advancing in your career. Once you've identified these key goals, put your energy into them first. By doing this, you ensure that your efforts are concentrated on what matters most.
Exactly, Adam. Prioritizing goals is all about focusing your time and energy where it counts the most. It's very tempting to try to do everything at once, but doing so can lead to burnout. It's better to choose a few meaningful goals and give them your full attention. For example, if learning English is a top priority for you this year, make sure that your learning goal comes first. Once you've made progress on it, you can then start working on other goals, like improving your fitness or learning a new hobby. Remember, focusing on a few key goals gives you the best chance to succeed.
Right. And once you've prioritized your goals, the next step is to break your goals into smaller steps. This is a key part of making big goals feel more achievable. When we set large goals, they can sometimes feel too overwhelming. Breaking them down into smaller, more manageable tasks makes it easier to take action. For instance, if your goal is to speak English more fluently, instead of just saying, "I want to speak fluent English," you could break it down into smaller steps like, "I will practice speaking English for 20 minutes every day," or "I will have one conversation in English every week." These smaller steps make the goal feel less intimidating, and each time you complete one, you feel a sense of progress. It also helps you avoid procrastination because you know exactly what you need to do next.
Exactly. When you break your big goals into smaller steps, it becomes much easier to stay on track and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Each step is like a mini goal, and when you complete them, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment, which motivates you to keep going. So, remember to break down your big goals into smaller specific tasks and focus on completing them one by one. This approach makes even the most challenging goals seem achievable.
Absolutely. And remember, setting meaningful goals isn't about perfection, it's about making progress. So take small steps, prioritize what matters most, and make sure your goals are SMART. By following these steps, you'll be well on your way to making the most of the new year.
Well said, Adam. Setting goals is a powerful way to take control of your life and work toward your dreams. So, let's start setting those SMART goals and break them down into smaller steps. With focus and determination, there's nothing you can't achieve.
Now that we've covered how to set meaningful and SMART goals, let's take a moment to talk about some of the challenges people often face when trying to achieve their goals. While goal setting can be exciting and motivating, it's important to understand that challenges will come up along the way. Recognizing these challenges ahead of time can help us be better prepared to overcome them. So, Julia, what are some of the most common challenges that people face when setting and trying to achieve their goals?
Well, Adam, there are several challenges that come up when we try to reach our goals. One of the most common challenges is a lack of motivation. At first, we might feel really excited about our goal, but over time, we can start to lose that excitement and interest. Maybe life gets busy, or we feel like we're not making progress fast enough. This is very normal, but it can make it hard to keep going. Have you ever experienced that, Adam? When you start something with a lot of excitement, but then it starts to feel like a chore?
Oh, absolutely. That happens to all of us at some point, Julia. It's easy to get excited about a new goal when we first set it, but then reality hits, and we realize that it's not always easy to stay motivated. Sometimes, we just don't feel like doing the work, especially if progress is slow. Another common challenge is distractions. Life is full of distractions, whether it's social media, TV, or even work and family commitments. All of these things can take our attention away from our goals, and before we know it, we're procrastinating or putting off our tasks. Distractions can really get in the way of our progress.
That's so true. Distractions can be a huge barrier, especially when we have so many things competing for our attention. It's hard to stay focused on our goals when there are so many other things pulling us in different directions. And, Adam, another challenge that many people face is the fear of failure. It's completely natural to be afraid of failing when we set big goals, especially if the goals are important to us. We start to worry about what will happen if we don't succeed, or if we try our best and still fall short. This fear of failure can stop people from even starting their goals, or it can make them quit before they've had a chance to succeed.
Yes, fear of failure is definitely one of the biggest challenges. It can hold us back from taking action, and can make us feel like we're not good enough to achieve our goals. It's a powerful feeling, and it's something that we need to address in order to keep moving forward. So, now that we know some of the challenges, let's talk about how to overcome them. What are some tips, Julia, to help people stay on track and push through these challenges?
First and foremost, one of the best ways to overcome the challenge of lack of motivation is to keep your why in mind. When we set a goal, it's really important to know why we're doing it in the first place. What's the reason behind the goal? Maybe your goal is to learn English because you want to travel, get a better job, or talk to more people from different cultures. When you remind yourself of your deeper motivation, it can reignite your passion and make it easier to stay focused. Another way to stay motivated is to celebrate small wins along the way. Every time you learn a new word, improve your speaking, or complete a task, take a moment to celebrate. These small victories help keep your motivation high.
I love that idea, Julia. Celebrating small wins is so important. It helps us see that progress is being made, even when the big goal feels far away. Another way to overcome a lack of motivation is to create a routine or schedule. When we make our goals part of our daily life, they start to feel less like a big task and more like a habit. For example, if your goal is to practice English every day, set aside a specific time each day to study or practice speaking. Whether it's 20 minutes in the morning or 30 minutes in the evening, having a routine helps you stay on track and keeps you accountable. You don't have to rely on motivation alone. Creating a routine ensures that you make progress, even when motivation is low.
Exactly, Adam. A schedule makes things easier because it becomes part of your daily habits. Now, let's talk about distractions. As you mentioned earlier, distractions are everywhere, and they can really take us away from our goals. One way to deal with distractions is to set boundaries. If you're studying or working on your goals, try to create an environment that minimizes distractions. This might mean turning off your phone, putting away the TV, or finding a quiet place to focus. Another helpful tip is to use time blocks. You can set a specific time for working on your goal, like dedicating 30 minutes of focused work, then taking a short break before starting again. Using time blocks helps you stay focused and ensures you're giving your full attention to your goal without feeling overwhelmed.
I couldn't agree more, Julia. Setting boundaries is key to staying focused. Another way to deal with distractions is to make your goals fun. If you enjoy what you're doing, you'll be less likely to get distracted. For example, if your goal is to improve your English, You could try watching English movies or playing language games that make learning feel less like work. When you make your goals enjoyable, distractions don't seem as tempting because you're having fun working toward your goals.
That's a great point, Adam. Making the process fun is a great way to stay engaged and focused. Now, let's move on to fear of failure. It's something that holds a lot of people back, but the key to overcoming it is to change the way you think about failure. Instead of seeing failure as something bad, try to see it as a learning opportunity. Every time we fail, we learn something new that helps us improve. Think of failure as a step towards success, not the end of the road. Remind yourself that everyone fails at some point, even successful people. It's part of the journey.
Yes. Embracing failure as part of the process is so important. It helps reduce the pressure and allows us to keep going. One other great tip is to ask for help when needed. Sometimes we're afraid of failing because we feel like we have to do everything on our own. But there's nothing wrong with reaching out for support. Whether it's talking to a friend, joining a study group, or asking a mentor for advice, getting help can give you the confidence you need to keep moving forward. Remember, you don't have to do everything alone.
That's such an important point, Adam. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. And finally, when it comes to overcoming challenges, don't forget to reward yourself along the way. Every time you reach a milestone or complete a task, take a moment to reward yourself. This could be something simple, like enjoying your favorite snack or taking a break to do something you love. Rewards keep us motivated and remind us that the hard work we're doing is worth it.
Absolutely, Julia. Rewards are a great way to stay motivated and celebrate your progress. So, to sum it up, some of the most common challenges in setting and achieving goals include lack of motivation, distractions, and fear of failure. But with the right strategies, like staying positive, creating a routine, asking for help, and rewarding yourself, you can overcome these challenges and stay on track. Remember, challenges are a natural part of the process, but they don't have to stop you from achieving your goals.
That's right, Adam. The most important thing is to stay persistent and keep moving forward, even when it gets tough. With the right mindset and a few strategies, you can push through any challenge and achieve your goals.
Now that we've looked at the different aspects of setting goals, let's focus on one of the most exciting areas for the new year: goals for learning English. Setting goals for improving your language skills can be incredibly rewarding, and it's a great way to motivate yourself. Julia, could you give us some examples of specific goals learners can set for their English journey this year?
Absolutely, Adam. There are many different aspects of English to focus on, and it's important to pick goals that are both realistic and challenging. One of the most common goals learners set is to improve their speaking skills. A great way to do this is by aiming to speak English for a certain amount of time each day or week. For instance, you might set a goal to speak in English for 10 minutes a day or join an online language exchange group once a week. Speaking regularly will help you gain confidence and fluency, making it easier to use English in real-life situations.
Those are wonderful examples, Julia. Another important area is listening comprehension. Many learners find it challenging to understand spoken English, especially with various accents and speeds. Setting a goal to listen to 30 minutes of English audio every day could be really helpful. This can include anything from listening to podcasts or audiobooks to watching English TV shows and movies. Exposing yourself to English in this way will help you become more comfortable with hearing different speaking styles and improve your ability to understand conversations.
That's a great suggestion, Adam. Improving listening is such a key part of mastering the language. Another goal to consider is expanding your vocabulary. Many learners aim to learn 10 new words every week. This is a manageable goal that helps you build your vocabulary over time. You can learn new words by reading books, watching movies, or even using language apps that specialize in vocabulary building. The more words you know, the more confident you'll feel when speaking and writing in English.
Exactly. And we can't forget about writing skills. Many people overlook writing, but it's an essential part of becoming fluent in English. A great goal is to write a short essay or journal entry in English every week. This can help you improve grammar, sentence structure, and your ability to express ideas clearly. Whether it's a simple paragraph or a longer piece, writing regularly can make a huge difference in your overall proficiency.
That's so true, Adam. Writing helps you organize your thoughts and communicate more effectively. Another specific goal many learners have is to prepare for an English exam. This could be for school, work, or a certification like TOEFL or IELTS. A clear and motivating goal would be to study for 1 hour every day to prepare for the exam. Setting a timeline for your study sessions can help you stay focused and organized, making your exam preparation much more manageable.
Great points, Julia. When you break your goals into specific areas like speaking, listening, vocabulary, and writing, you'll see significant improvement in all aspects of your English skills, but having clear resources to help you along the way is just as important. What resources do you recommend for learners who are focused on these goals?
That's a great question, Adam. Let's start with books. They are one of the best resources for improving your English. There are many books written specifically for English learners, ranging from graded readers for beginners to more advanced texts. Reading books not only increases your vocabulary, but also helps you learn sentence structure and grammar in context. As your level improves, you can move on to novels, non-fiction books, or even English newspapers to challenge yourself further. Another excellent resource is podcasts. With so many English learning podcasts available, you can easily find one that focuses on the areas you want to improve. Whether you're working on grammar, pronunciation, or listening skills, listening to podcasts is a great way to immerse yourself in the language. Some podcasts are specifically tailored to learners, while others are for native speakers, which can be a great way to expose yourself to natural, conversational English.
Podcasts are a fantastic way to learn, especially since you can listen to them anywhere. Another great resource is language learning apps. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise make learning fun by offering interactive exercises and challenges. These apps can help you with vocabulary, grammar, and even speaking practice. Plus, because they're on your phone, you can practice anytime and anywhere, making it easy to fit English learning into your daily routine. And let's not forget about online courses. Websites like Udemy, Coursera, and edX offer in-depth courses on English that range from beginner to advanced levels. These courses often include video lessons, quizzes, and assignments that can help reinforce what you've learned. Some platforms even offer certificates after completion, which can be a great way to show your progress.
Absolutely, Adam. Online courses are a great way to have a more structured learning experience. For more personalized learning, you can also connect with a tutor. Platforms like Italki and Preply allow you to have one-on-one lessons with native speakers. Tutors can help with everything from speaking practice to grammar corrections, and their feedback is invaluable in improving your language skills. The personal connection and guidance from a tutor can make learning feel much more interactive and motivating. In addition, there are flashcard apps like Anki and Quizlet that help you memorize new vocabulary. You can create your own flashcards or use ones created by other learners. This is a fantastic tool for reviewing words and phrases, especially if you want to improve your vocabulary consistently. Flashcards allow you to practice when you have free moments, making them an efficient tool for learning on the go.
I love how easy it is to find flashcard decks tailored to specific language needs. And speaking of learning on the go, YouTube channels are another fantastic resource. Channels like BBC Learning English, English with Lucy, and Rachel's English offer lessons on everything from pronunciation to common idioms. Many of these channels provide free content that you can watch and practice with at your own pace. You can also pause, rewind, and rewatch videos to make sure you're understanding everything correctly.
Yes, YouTube is such a helpful resource for English learners. And if you prefer a more interactive experience, language exchange platforms like Tandem and HelloTalk allow you to practice English with native speakers. You can chat via text, voice messages, or even video calls. These platforms make it easy to practice speaking with real people, which can help build your confidence and improve your conversational skills. Lastly, don't forget about social media groups. There are many Facebook groups and Instagram accounts dedicated to English learners. Joining these communities allows you to ask questions, share your progress, and even make friends who are also learning English. It's a great way to stay motivated and connect with others who are on the same journey.
You've shared so many valuable resources, Julia. From books and podcasts to online courses and language exchange platforms, there are so many tools available to help you reach your English learning goals. The key is to use a combination of these resources, stay consistent, and keep pushing yourself to improve. As we've talked about goal setting today, it's essential to remember that each of us has a unique experience when it comes to setting and achieving our goals. I believe sharing our own personal experiences with goal setting for the new year can provide insight and motivation for our listeners. Julia, I would love for you to start. What are some of your main goals for this year, especially with respect to your English learning journey?
Thanks, Adam. That's a great question. For me, one of my biggest goals for the upcoming year is to improve my listening comprehension skills. I feel that as an English speaker, I sometimes overlook how crucial it is to actively work on understanding different accents and dialects in English. This year, I've set a goal to not only listen to more English content, but to challenge myself by exposing myself to speakers from various countries. Specifically, I want to listen to content like podcasts, movies, and news broadcasts in English, but from different countries such as Australia, India, and South Africa. I believe this will help me gain better exposure to the diverse ways English is spoken around the world, and by the end of this year, I want to feel comfortable understanding speakers from different regions. I'm also thinking of setting specific milestones along the way, such as understanding a new accent every few months. I feel this will give me clear progress markers and keep me on track.
That's an amazing goal, Julia. It's so important to challenge yourself in different aspects of language learning, especially when it comes to exposure to various accents. For me, I've been thinking a lot about how I want to improve my public speaking in English. While I'm quite comfortable speaking in front of audiences for work-related purposes, I would love to improve my overall confidence when speaking publicly, whether that's for a presentation, a speech, or even in casual conversations. To reach that goal, I've set the intention to join a Toastmasters group this year, where I'll have opportunities to practice public speaking regularly and get feedback from others. I'm hoping this will help me become more articulate, reduce any nervousness, and improve my delivery. Having those opportunities for regular practice and constructive criticism is key to building up both skills and confidence in public speaking.
I really like that, Adam. Public speaking is definitely a skill that can be daunting at first, but with consistent practice, it becomes easier. I know from experience that stepping outside your comfort zone is the best way to grow, and public speaking is no exception. As you mentioned, whether it's formal speaking like a presentation or just speaking in everyday situations, it's all about practicing and becoming more comfortable with the act of speaking in front of others. It reminds me of what we've been discussing about goal setting. It's not about perfection, it's about making progress every day, little by little.
Absolutely. Progress, not perfection. And I think that's one of the most powerful aspects of goal setting. As we've said before, setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, allows us to break down big objectives into smaller, more manageable chunks. When we focus on small, actionable steps, it becomes much easier to track progress and stay motivated. So, I'm excited about getting started on my public speaking goal and seeing how I can improve over the year.
I totally agree, Adam. Breaking down a big goal into smaller, manageable tasks is so crucial to staying on track. Sometimes the thought of a big goal can be overwhelming, but if you focus on what you can do each day, no matter how small it may seem, you'll see progress over time. I think that's why celebrating small victories is so important. For example, after successfully listening to a podcast from a different region and understanding most of it, I'll take a moment to celebrate that achievement. These little celebrations along the way can help keep you energized and motivated to continue.
Yes, celebrating the small victories is key. And, as we've mentioned before, consistency is another major factor. We can't expect to make significant progress in a short amount of time. Achieving any meaningful goal takes time, and the most successful people I know are the ones who show up every single day, even when things feel tough. It's about being consistent and persistent, no matter how small the steps may seem. For instance, if I practice my public speaking skills even for just 10 minutes a day, over the course of a month, that's 300 minutes of practice. It all adds up.
That's such a great point, Adam. It's not about having a huge amount of time each day. It's about using the time we do have efficiently. Small, consistent actions lead to lasting change. And even if you're only able to dedicate 10 or 15 minutes to a goal, that's still progress. You're moving forward. And it's not just about achieving the end result, but enjoying the process and learning along the way. We've both shared our own goals, but I really want to encourage our listeners to think about their own personal goals for this year. It's not too late to start, and the new year is the perfect opportunity to set the tone for growth.
Exactly, Julia. To all our listeners, take this time to think about your goals, whether they're related to learning English, improving your career, or personal development. As we've talked about, setting goals doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's all about taking small, consistent steps toward a bigger vision. You don't have to achieve everything at once. The key is to make progress and to stay consistent. So, don't be afraid to start small, but also don't forget to celebrate every bit of progress you make along the way.
That's the spirit. Remember, every little step counts. Whether it's learning 5 new words today or finishing a book by the end of the month, those small achievements add up and take you closer to your ultimate goal. The important thing is to stay motivated, be kind to yourself, and keep going. You've got this. So, we hope that today's podcast has given you the encouragement to set your own meaningful goals for this year. Start small, stay consistent, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today. We hope you're feeling inspired and ready to take action toward your goals. Just remember, progress is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your desired outcome. So, keep pushing forward, stay consistent, and don't forget to celebrate your successes along the way. Until next time, keep learning and growing. You're on the right path. While we've spent time discussing the technical aspects of setting goals, such as breaking them into manageable steps, staying consistent, and measuring progress, there is one crucial element that acts as the glue holding all these strategies together: a positive mindset. A positive mindset is not just about being overly optimistic or ignoring the challenges that come your way. Instead, it's about adopting a belief system where you trust in your ability to grow, adapt, and eventually achieve the goals you've set for yourself, even when the path feels uncertain or filled with obstacles. Without this foundation of positivity, even the most detailed plans can falter under pressure or setbacks.
Absolutely, Adam. A positive mindset helps us see setbacks not as failures but as learning opportunities. Imagine you're trying to learn English and you find it hard to pronounce certain words. A negative mindset might make you think, "I'll never be good at this," which could discourage you from practicing further. However, with a positive outlook, you can reframe the situation and say, "This is an area where I can improve. Every mistake I make is bringing me closer to fluency." That shift in perspective is incredibly powerful because it transforms challenges into stepping stones rather than roadblocks.
And what's amazing about maintaining a positive mindset is that it creates a ripple effect. When you approach your goals with positivity, you become more resilient to setbacks, more open to learning, and more persistent in your efforts. It's like planting a seed. You may not see the plant growing immediately, But your faith in the process keeps you watering it every day until eventually it blossoms into something beautiful. Positivity doesn't make the journey effortless, but it does make it more meaningful and rewarding.
So the question arises, how do we cultivate and sustain a positive mindset, especially in moments when things feel overwhelming or progress seems slow? One of the most effective strategies is to practice gratitude regularly. Gratitude is about focusing on what's going well in your life, even if it feels small or insignificant. For instance, if you're working on improving your English and feel stuck, take a moment to appreciate the resources available to you, such as free podcasts, online classes, or even a supportive friend willing to help you practice. Shifting your attention from what you lack to what you already have can change your outlook and reignite your motivation.
That's so true, Julia. Another powerful way to maintain positivity is through self-affirmations. Self-affirmations are short, encouraging statements you say to yourself to remind you of your capabilities and strengths. You might start your day by saying, "I am capable of learning something new today," or "Every small step I take is bringing me closer to my goals." While it might feel strange at first, repeating these affirmations daily can gradually rewire your brain to focus more on possibilities than limitations.
And don't underestimate the impact of surrounding yourself with positive influences. Spend time with people who uplift and encourage you, whether it's friends, family, or even online communities focused on learning and self-improvement. Positivity is contagious, and being around others who believe in growth and progress can inspire you to adopt the same mindset. Likewise, limit exposure to negativity, whether it comes from people, news, or even your inner critic. The more you protect your mental environment, the easier it becomes to stay positive.
Another great practice is to focus on progress rather than perfection. It's easy to feel discouraged when you don't see instant results, but if you take the time to reflect on how far you've come instead of how far you still have to go, it can be incredibly motivating. For example, if your goal is to learn 500 new English words in a year, celebrate when you've learned the first 50. Recognizing these small wins keeps your momentum going and reinforces your belief that you're capable of achieving your bigger goals.
Positivity isn't just a feel-good mindset, it's a tool for long-term success. Studies have shown that people who maintain a positive outlook are more likely to persevere through challenges and less likely to give up when things get tough. A positive mindset gives you the emotional strength to keep going, even when progress feels slow or the road feels steep. It's like a reserve of energy you can tap into whenever you need it, allowing you to keep moving forward despite difficulties.
Exactly, Julia. Positivity also helps you build resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back after setbacks. Let's say you miss a week of studying English because of a busy schedule. With a positive mindset, instead of beating yourself up, you'll think, "It's okay, I can start again today." This kind of thinking keeps you from getting stuck in guilt or frustration and helps you refocus on your goals with renewed determination.
And one final thought on positivity. It's not something you have to master overnight. Just like learning English or achieving any other goal, developing a positive mindset is a gradual process. Start with small steps, like practicing gratitude or saying affirmations, and build from there. Over time, you'll find that positivity becomes a natural part of how you approach not just your goals, but life in general.
As we come to the end of today's episode, Julia, let's take a moment to recap some of the main points we've covered. We began by discussing what goals really are. Simply put, goals are targets or aspirations that we set for ourselves in order to achieve something important in our lives. They can be big or small, short-term or long-term, but what matters most is that they give us direction and purpose.
Yes, exactly. Then we moved on to explaining the difference between short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goals are those smaller, more immediate objectives that can be achieved relatively quickly, like learning 10 new words each week. Long-term goals, on the other hand, are bigger dreams or aspirations that require more time, patience, and effort to reach. such as achieving fluency in English by the end of the year. Both are essential for progress, and each helps us move closer to achieving something bigger.
And from there, we highlighted why setting goals is so important for our personal development. Setting goals gives us a sense of direction, helps us stay motivated, and focuses our energy on what really matters. It allows us to measure our progress and celebrate our achievements, big or small, which makes us feel proud and ready to tackle even bigger challenges.
Right. Then, we introduced the SMART framework for goal setting, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This framework ensures that our goals are clear and practical, making them more likely to be accomplished. Instead of just saying, "I want to get better at English," we can make that goal specific and measurable, like, "I want to learn 10 new English words every week." This way, the goal is easier to track, and it feels more manageable.
Exactly. And once we have those SMART goals in place, we talked about the importance of breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps. This is crucial because it makes big goals feel less overwhelming. By focusing on one small task at a time, like mastering 5 words today, we can avoid feeling stuck and keep making steady progress.
And we also discussed some of the challenges that people often face when setting goals. These challenges can include things like lack of motivation, getting distracted by other things, or feeling afraid of failure. But even though these obstacles are common, they are not unbeatable. The key is to stay positive, be kind to yourself, and remember that every setback is simply a part of the learning process. You don't have to be perfect to make progress.
And speaking of overcoming challenges, we shared some resources for people who want to learn English and set language learning goals. Books, podcasts, apps, and online courses are all great tools that can help you stay on track. The internet is full of amazing resources, so take advantage of what's out there to support you in your learning journey.
Absolutely. It's important to remember that learning English, like any goal, takes time. But with the right tools, resources, and a strong commitment, it's more than possible to succeed. All of these strategies, setting SMART goals, breaking things down into smaller steps, and using helpful resources, are your roadmap to success.
Now, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a motivational message. The beginning of a new year is like having a blank page, and you get to decide what story you're going to write. Setting meaningful goals is the first step in writing your own success story. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your health, or mastering a new language, start small, but stay consistent. The journey may feel slow at times, but as long as you keep moving forward, you're making progress.
Exactly, Adam. It's so important to remember that every goal, no matter how big or small, is a step towards growth. Don't be discouraged if things don't happen overnight. Success doesn't happen instantly. It's the result of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Consistency is key, and the more consistent you are, the closer you'll get to achieving your goals.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes along the way. Those mistakes are part of the learning process, and they are stepping stones toward reaching your full potential. So don't be afraid to try, fail, and try again. Each time you try, you learn something new that brings you one step closer to your goal.
Yes. The important thing is to keep moving forward no matter how small the steps. Every time you reach a small milestone, celebrate it. Each of those small wins is a reminder that you're capable of more than you think. And when you look back, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. So believe in yourself, stay motivated, and take it one day at a time.
Before we say goodbye, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to today's podcast. We hope that the tips and strategies we shared today will inspire you to set meaningful goals and work toward achieving them, whether it's for learning English or any other area of your life.
Absolutely. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you can keep learning with us every week. We've got more exciting episodes coming your way, and we don't want you to miss any of them.
And we'd love to hear about your goals for the new year. What are you aiming to achieve? Whether it's learning English or something else, please comment below and share your thoughts with us. We're all in this together, and we'd love to cheer you on as you work toward your goals.
And if you found today's episode helpful, please share it with your friends or family who might also benefit from hearing it. The more people we can help, the better. We truly believe that setting goals can change lives, and we want to spread that message as far as possible.
So, take a moment to reflect on your goals, write them down, and start working toward them today. The new year is full of possibilities, and you have the power to make it your best year yet. Keep moving forward, stay focused, and most importantly, believe in yourself.
That's right. We're so excited for what's to come, and we're here cheering you on every step of the way. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Remember, you've got this.
Goodbye, everyone. Stay motivated and take care.